Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Amida Care's DIY natural skincare with Miss Leslie Dicke. I
Dicke.
believe that's how you say your last name,
Dicke.
Dickey. And she is a certified holistic health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition with additional certifications from the Natural Gourmet Institute. And at Matthew Kenney's Culinary Academy, she is the founder of Feeding Your Goals, a company that focuses on nutrition, healthy lifestyles, and recipes to help individuals feel better and live more vibrant and energetic lives. As a health coach, she sees many people who are not well and rely on medications that are not curing them. Her passion is to help clients uncover answers and keys to achieving optimal health while feeding their health goals. And we are looking forward to hearing all your advices and recipes. And I was definitely looking forward since I missed the smoothie session. So here you go, Leslie, you can take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This is going to be some fun little playing around in the kitchen, and you're going to have some real benefits from this one because you're going to feel great. I've been using these products myself now for a while, and my skin feels great. I feel great. So right now we're going to do 3 different recipes. We'll go through a very quick little PowerPoint just as to sort of talk about why we're doing this, why we should care about doing this. And in the meantime, I'm starting on the second recipe, which is the soothing toner, because it requires a cup of distilled water. And you can just buy this because honestly, to make distilled water is not worth my time. And it's pretty cheap to buy in the store. I apologize for the single-use plastic, but I hopefully will be able to refill that with something. My husband surfs and he often takes those jugs to rinse himself off afterwards. That whole thing was like $4. So I used a cup of that and it's heating up on the stove. And once that is hot, but not quite boiling, I'm going to steep some whole chamomile flowers. I love this tea company. It's called, I think I linked it in your thing. It's Alea tea. They're really well sourced and they're delicious. They have all kinds of different flavors, but they have these whole chamomile. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, I just noticed that was the wrong one. Excuse me. This is a different one. Hold on a second. I am going to grab this one. This is the chamomile. That one was a lemongrass ginger. I was like, that doesn't smell like chamomile. This smells like chamomile. Okay, this is gorgeous. And we're just going to put 2 tablespoons of that so you can tell it looks like flowers, not stalk. That one was stalks. So let me just check. Yes, this is hot now. So I'm just going to throw 2 tablespoons of this in here to steep. Let that get hot. I'm also using I have some nice non-toxic cookware if you guys ever want to discuss that. So we're going to just let that steep and get on to our little presentation. I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. And my desktop. Okay, let's see if this works. Allow Zoom to share screen. Okay. Hang on one second. I was a little worried about this part because I'm not super techie.
Okay.
Let's see here. Anybody know how to do this? Firewall. Why is it asking me about privacy? Oh, I'm going to try this again. Okay, so 1 participant can share at a time. Okay, that's okay. So it's okay. I should have tried this. Dang. Okay, well, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to hold them up.
Wait,
Okay.
do you want to try to send it to me and maybe I can pop
Oh,
it up?
there you go. That's a thought. But why has it disappeared? Hold on a second. Hang on.
The PowerPoint that you're trying to pull up.
Let me pull this off. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so let me see, file share. Okay, send presentation to, what's your email?
MLYN, Emlyn at amidacareny.org.
At Amida, ny
.org.
.org. O-R-G. Okay, DIY skin care. Okay, here we go. There we go. To Zoom. Okay, let's see if this works now. Okay, so anyway, we'll get, I'm just going to get going on that just to talk about why your skin basics, because why do we even care? You know, skin is actually your, some of you know that that the skin is the largest of our organs. It's about 15 or 16% of our total body weight even. It protects our organs from toxins and UV radiation, of course. It helps protect the inner organs. It helps colon, lung, and kidneys eliminate toxic waste, which is really critical. And that gets important when you're starting to exfoliate, because you know stuff can get clogged. That's why sometimes we break out and such like that. It plays a really important role in our immune system. And actually, even this whole sloughing thing, the whole skin renews itself every 28 days or 5 to 6 weeks. So it's pretty amazing. But what goes on your skin actually goes straight to your bloodstream. I don't think people appreciate that. So when like you're bathing in something, you're like literally feeding your insides from your bath. So you really want to think about not putting something toxic in your bath water and just making sure you're getting something really good in there. And the sad part is that cosmetic products and, you know, personal care products are not subject to FDA pre-market approval. They, with the exception of color additives, which are even sometimes not, there are like tens of thousands of chemicals and additives in our products that are only maybe 200 of them are tested for health and safety. So it's really kind of this weird system that we have that doesn't check. And so, you know, cosmetic companies and such can get away with using a lot of cheaper product, you know, cheaper things and stuff like that. They'll sell you on, they work on formulating fragrances that attract people that may or may not be toxic or even carcinogenic. So that you really want to be careful about what you're using and what you're buying. Just for an example, there was a CDC study that showed in urine that people had lots of plasticizers called phthalates that are linked to asthma, diabetes, infertility, and more, as well as parabens, which are known to, they've done many studies showing that they are hormone disruptors. And these can be found in things like your commercial deodorant, antiperspirant, hair dye, cologne, perfume, shampoos, conditioners, hairstyling products, scented soaps. Like, oh, there we are. So I'm already on, let's see, if you want to go to potential sources, it goes just fast forward. Yeah, just go down. It's probably slide 5 or more. Nope, after that, no, down 6. Yeah, we're on 6. Potential sources. Moisturizing creams and lotions, chemical sunscreens, drugstore toothpaste, Colgate and Crest have some toxins in them, alcohol-based mouthwash or aftershave. You want to stay away from petroleum-based products. And really, and then the next slide shows you the hidden toxins, which are potentially bad for our health and can lead to lots of health problems. The phthalates, sorry, never mind that. Parabens, hormone disruptors, as we talked about. Sulfates are can be skin irritants and cause premature aging. Dioxins are possibly carcinogenic. And then you have fragrance, which is so common. That can contain up to 100 different chemicals in one fragrance. There's also preservatives, things like formaldehyde, and this is just a few. This is not even, there's, like I said, something like I read 80,000 different chemicals in our products that we use every day. And, you know, a lot of them are, you know, you'll do a little research and they say it's considered safe. Generally considered safe, but when you start adding like all the products you have in your closet or in your bathroom and your kitchen and your laundry room, all those things really add up to a point where they may not be generally safe because they're layered on top of different. You can go to the next one now. So what we like to do here, what we're going to do today is focus on food grade so the next one, yeah, food grade ingredients, things that you can, so generally when you want to talk about safe products to put on your skin, or, you know, in your mouthwash, whatever you're making, you want to use things that you could actually consume, would be safe to consume. Things like coconut oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. I'm actually using sunflower oil today. I think those are both great quality. I think sunflower is a little bit friendlier for all of the doshas if they use it more commonly in Ayurveda. Shea butter, aloe vera, oats, coffee, sea salt, sugar. We're all using those today, and essential oils. Essential oils are basically, and you want to be a little bit careful about where you're sourcing. Those are sourced because they are very highly concentrated. So you want to get a good quality essential oil, but those are basically considered safe. Okay, so the next one. So some of the essential oils we'll be talking about today, and we might just take a pause from this because we can talk about these as we go along, but basically chamomile, frankincense, lavender, palmarosa, which is one that I've just recently kind of been playing around with, peppermint, rose, sandalwood. I don't have in my pantry right now, and sea buckthorn is also a little bit tough to find, but you see that used a lot in really good quality skincare products, sea buckthorn. Okay, so the next slide,
What about eucalyptus
what is that?
as an essential oil?
What was the question?
I said, what about eucalyptus as an essential
Oh,
oil?
that's definitely a great essential oil. So there is a whole host of essential oils. We could do many classes on just essential oils. And I give you a list, a source at the end of this slideshow. In fact, we can go ahead. Yes, it's a book that you can get for $20 on Amazon that goes through, it's like a Bible of all the essential oils. So honestly, if you're interested in essential oils and getting started with that, and believe me, it's a lot of fun. I would buy this book. I would start with this book and just sort of start with picking out a few. So peppermint, which we're going to be using in the body scrub, is an anti-inflammatory. It helps with being alert, helps with memory and energy, can help with fever and hot flashes, helps with burns and sunburns, releases muscle tension, can even help with headaches. The next one we're going to talk about is rose. We're going to use that in, you have the option of using that in this hydrating mist or the soothing toner. That's very interesting because it's an antidepressant. It's considered an aphrodisiac, helps with wrinkles and redness, scars, wounds, and infections, is also uplifting. So a natural mood booster, and also calming. So that's sort of an interesting combination to find in one single source. And also because it's an aphrodisiac, it can enhance libido if you use it on the bottom of your feet and around your abdomen. That's where you would rub it topically. The next one we're talking about is frankincense. Now, this one is one of the ones they gave, one of the ancient ones that are in the Bible, right? So this is one of those ones that is more expensive, but I buy like one bottle a year and it lasts almost, if not more than 1 year. So I do use it quite a bit. I love it so much. I mean, whenever I wear it, I kind of wear it as a scent sometimes. And people are like, wow, what's that smell? And it doesn't, a sign of a good quality scent is that it goes away. It doesn't stick around. If you're wearing something that smells for hours and hours and hours and people notice it, then it's sort of a signal that it's a little bit that it's more toxic. So this will go away. It's a strong smell, but I love it. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, anti-aging. You can put it on a pimple and the pimple will be gone. It's good for oily skin generally, but also skin balancing. And
never thought to use it for a pimple. Never thought to use it.
Yeah, and also wrinkles. Like I've read you can even put it on like wrinkles and it'll help with that. That's anti-aging. The next one is this new one I found, palmarosa, which is commonly used in skincare stuff, and that's also sort of similar qualities as the frankincense, but a lot less expensive. So that's also a mood booster. It also can be an insect repellent. So it has a lot of the similar qualities as frankincense, but also. So those are just some examples of some fun ones to get started with. And then the next slide is your resources slide. So that is going to give you the Essential Life. I can show it to you when I come back on screen, what that book is like. And Also, I would turn you on to the Environmental Working Group's website. It's called ewg.org/skin deep. And they go through a lot of products and they talk about a lot of specific chemicals they try to get banned, and they do a lot of good work in that area, and you can kind of go down a rabbit hole there, but it is a good resource. And then there's a book called there's a ton of books out there, I just know, but the one that I'm familiar with is called Not Just a Pretty Face, The Ugly Side of the Beauty Industry. And that was sort of like, one of the big ones that kind of started this whole healthy beauty movement. Okay, and so we'll turn that off. So I can stop. We can go ahead and go back to seeing the recipes. We can get started on these recipes. So I think, yeah, you have to try. Okay, perfect. Okay, so there we are. So this is the book. So it's pretty big. It's quite heavy and big, but it goes through and it tells you all about, like, here's the page on lemon, and it tells you all about what the benefits of lemon are. And then later on, it goes into specific, like, conditions, like if you have, let's see, there's one for children. Okay, here's one for nervous system or oral health. Let's see, I'm trying to find a good one that would be cardiovascular, candida, brain. Here's one for brain. So what would be good for that? And they talk about different using frankincense, actually sandalwood, a lot of these are for multiple purposes. So we'll see that once you start sort of investing in these little guys and you want to play around with this, there's a lot you can do. It's kind of fun. You can start diffusing them. You can use that distilled water you just bought in your diffuser and diffuse it in your room. But today we are going to make this toner. Hold on a second, I have to get my notes here. Okay, so we're going to just strain this into a bowl. Well, 1 second. Let's get the little strainer out. Hold on. Okay, so similar things. So I'm just going to strain out this just so we don't have any of the leaves in here. It just kind of looks, it has a little color to it, the liquid, as you can see. And you can maybe push that down just so you can get all of the juice out of it. And you'll see, okay, this we're going to time ourselves. I didn't put cooking time or whatever. I usually put prep time on my recipes, but I didn't here because, I would be talking. Okay, so we'll time this though, because it will show you how fast you can do this. All I did was make some tea, and then I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of coconut water that I bought at Trader Joe's. This one I like because it just has coconut water. There's no other ingredients. A lot of coconut waters, believe it or not, have added sugar, which seems so strange to me because coconut water is so sweet and has so much natural sugar. I don't think you need it. So we're just going to put 2 tablespoons of that in here. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons of aloe vera juice. I also found this at Trader Joe's, and they have this huge jug, and we used it in our recipes for the coolers and smoothies. So it has multiple purposes. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of that. Have to be super exact. This is just a mist, right? This isn't like a bake, nothing. We're not baking today. We can do, okay, now the fun starts and we can start playing around. Now we could use a rose. I have a rose hydrosol. That's a thing I found at a farmer's market here. And it's just a rose water. If we wanted, we could have used that instead of the coconut water for something more soothing, even more soothing. Coconut water is nice though, because it's a nice little refreshing. Now we get to play, right? We can use frankincense, which I might use today. We can do lavender. If we had some kind of blemishes, we could even use a tea tree or it's called melaleuca, but that's kind of an antimicrobial. So that's kind of nice. Has a strong scent. So it smells very antiseptic-y kind of. Not what I'm going to go for today. Yeah. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to do frankincense today. It's so lovely. Okay. So I'm just going to do 2. I'm going to go Yeah, you're gonna want to do it so you can smell it. I'm gonna do more than, yeah, that's better. Okay, so then I'm gonna stir that up. Oh, that's nice. I did more. I did, just so you know, and you know, it's all to your taste, but you're going to want to smell it. I did probably 5 or 6 drops of that. And then we're going to let that set and just come to kind of a cool room temperature. But when we're ready, okay, that took 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes. And then we're going to find, I just found some old spray bottles that I'm not using anymore. And I cleaned them out with some baking soda. And now I'm just refilled them. And what I do is I put them in the fridge. And so on a hot day or in the morning when I wake up and I want to, you know, I just kind of pull it out of the fridge and spray my face. And it's just a lovely way to start your day. And you'll find you'll have more than one. This recipe will probably fill up like 3 of these containers. So you can give some away. It's kind of a nice little gift. So that is our first recipe. Done. Okay, and the next one we're going to do is the scrub. Hold on. Big tray. So here is.
Let's go back to the toner, Leslie. So if you put it in the refrigerator, how long, what is the shelf life?
Oh,
That a month or 2?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, a lot of these essential oils are naturally kind of preservative. So I would say, you know, food grade stuff typically doesn't last that long. I would say, you know, a week, a month, probably no more than, you know, 6 months. It depends on what you're putting in it. But with these, when you add this and you've got the essential oils, especially something like a tea tree, oh, I think it could last a long time. Easily 6 months to a year. So use your nose, always use your nose to see. And if the scent's gone, you know, then it might be time, but it should, you know, because the coconut water could go bad, the aloe vera could go bad. So there is some stuff in here that could, yeah, and even the chamomile. So I would say if you're using, you know, depending on the essential oil, I would say it's safe to say, I would say safely 3 months, I would say, in the fridge. So, you know, and that's not a very big thing. So, and I've been using it every day. So, okay, so here we've got I need the recipe. Here we've got this invigorating body scrub. Now I called it invigorating because we're going to use peppermint, which is kind of an awakening thing, right? So there's the peppermint essential oil. These are mostly from this company, doTERRA, who wrote that book. But I have found some other ones that I will show you later that are good brands. But you know, just look around, and typically, if you find it at a good store, you can trust that they're a good source. But you can always ask them. So I am using this coconut oil from Terrasol. I love this company. I buy a lot of products from them, and this was actually a pretty good deal. Then I was worried I was going to run out. So I was in Whole Foods yesterday and I bought this. So this was like $10 for 14 ounces. The coconut oil is kind of a little bit pricey of an ingredient, but it lasts forever. And you can even find it at Costco. Actually, I found my best price coconut oil is at Costco. Now, the thing to know about coconut oils, there's 2 kinds. There's refined and unrefined. And refined coconut oil has a slightly more processed, but it's had the coconut flavor removed. So if that flavor or scent bothers you, then I would buy the refined. This one I did use, I buy it refined. This one is unrefined. So this one will have a coconut there. I believe the one they have at Costco is unrefined. So if it does, you know, if you want to feel like you're in Hawaii, buy the unrefined. You know, or Bermuda or one of those places. So it's a lovely smell, but sometimes some people react to it. So we have, and I've just saved my husband's a coffee drinker, so I saved his coffee grounds. And we're going to just put that in the bowl. Okay, so let's see, check our timing here. That's the coffee grounds.
I've always heard coffee grounds is good for your face, like to exfoliate or something like that.
Your face, that's a good one. I would be a little careful with your face. I would try it on your skin, do a skin test first. In fact, I mean, coffee can be a little harsh. So, and I personally react to coffee. I don't drink coffee because it makes me anxious. So I can't do coffee. And so I worried about putting it on my skin, but it seems to work okay on my skin. But I did test it. So I think you'd want to just be careful with that. You could always sub this too with more oats and more salt. So you don't have to do, this is just a basic platform to launch from. But so I would just use the same quantities. And if you wanted to make a smaller recipe, you could do a quarter cup, a quarter cup, a quarter cup, if you don't want to make this much. So that's something you can do. So now with the oats, we're doing organic rolled oats. So I bought those I found these really good ones, these good sprouted ones, a huge bag at Costco the other day. So huge bag and super cheap ingredient, but it's good to buy a good quality one because you want an organic, non-GMO ideally, and sprouted is even better if you're consuming them, if you're going to use them for food stuff, because they're more easily digested and the nutrients are more available. So the thing about non-organic oats is they have been tested and found to be very high in glyphosate, which is this horrible, nasty pesticide that we know causes cancer. So you don't want to be like putting carcinogens on your skin. So we bought nice organic non-GMO, and what we did was I put it in a spice. Sorry, it's plugged in, so I can't show you. I put it in a spice. This is a spice grinder, but it's a spice and nut grinder technically from Cuisinart. They're kind of a great little tool in the kitchen, but you could easily use a coffee grinder if you clean it out. Or if for this recipe, it doesn't matter because you're going to have the coffee scent anyway, and you just grind it up in there, or you could use a food processor. You could even use a blender, although I think that would be a little messier, but you could do it. And you just want to grind it so it becomes like this little powdery kind of stuff. And that's actually how you make oat flour. So there's really no need to buy oat flour. You can just buy this big bag and you've got all the oats you need and the oat flour you need for all your recipes. We're going to put that in there. We are going to add half a cup of Epsom salt. And here is the bag I bought. This stuff is super cheap. This is also a power tool in your house. I would definitely invest in these because you can just put these in your bath. I just put a scoop of this in my bath at night with a few drops of essential oil and I'm done. I never have to buy a bath bomb. I never have to buy like an expensive whatever. It's just super cheap. I mean, I think this bag costs $4 and it's huge. It'll last me probably a couple months or 2 or 3 months. And it also works as a laxative if you ever have that issue. It's just a great little thing to have. So I'm going to put some Epsom salts. It's also rich in magnesium, which helps you sleep. So if you take that bath at night, you have a nice rest, helps with bowel movements, helps with a lot of things. It's kind of a super uber thing. This is how I store my coffee grinds. Just when my husband's done, I just put them in there and then I put them in the freezer because they will go bad eventually. And then we're just going to mix this up and then we'll add our coconut oil. So this is sort of soft. I just kind of mix it all together. We'll see how this works. I'll always work though. See, okay. So let's see. And here is my coconut oil. See, it's pretty soft. So I would say if your coconut oil, I mean, I could have put this in like a warm oven and softened it up even more. It would have made this a little bit easier to mix. But I didn't. So for today, and we're just going to mix this up. And always whenever I have a coconut oil on my fingers, I just put, I just never waste any coconut oil. So we're going to try and mix this up. And then we're going to do 6 to 10 drops of our peppermint oil. I'm going to start with 6 because it's always easier to add than subtract. 5, 6. Okay. Oh, and by the way, you could use, instead of the Epsom salt, you could use Himalayan pink salt. Now, this is great stuff too, has different nutritional benefits, has a lot of minerals in it, but it's more expensive. So I do buy it in bulk because I use a lot of it in my cooking. But that I would say if you want to go the cheaper route, use the Epsom salts, and they both They both are great choices though. And this is going to be now something to keep in mind when you use this. You want to be a little bit careful because coffee does stain. So again, if you're worried about that, just take the coffee out and increase the oats and the salt, and you'll still have a great product. But I like this invigorating coffee scrub, and I just make sure I rub it on myself in the shower, not before I get in the shower, so that anything that falls can fall directly down, go down the drain eventually. And then also just be careful if there's any left on your body afterwards and you use a towel and it's like a white towel or a lighter towel, you may end up staining the towel with the coffee if you have trouble with coffee stains. So just some things to be aware of and be careful of if you have any of those concerns. And I'm really smelling the peppermint, so I don't think we need any more. But you end up basically getting this nice little kind of pasty scrubby stuff, and it's so easy. And those are all pretty much ingredients that would be pretty, for the way I cook, I have all those ingredients around all the time. Once you start, of course, collecting your essential oils. This one is not an expensive one, and peppermint's pretty reasonable, I believe. So that's a really good one to have. And you can use it in the mint chip smoothie that we made last week or last couple weeks ago. Okay, so that is done. And you can see if you want to do a little skin test, you can just sort of rub it on your skin like that. And then you kind of rinse it off. This is like what they do in those fancy stores, right? And they rub it off. And there you go. You've got a beautiful, I'm no hand model.
So how does it smell?
What's that?
How does it smell?
Minty, refreshing. It wakes me up and does make me more alert. I love it. I just love mint. And mint pairs really well. This is the fun part, is you can start pairing them, figuring out, and the book helps you with that. But mint pairs well with citrus. So if you did there's like an orange one that I love the scent of. It's so individual, and you can go do your own, become your own little chemist. It's so great. Then what I do is I take just a used old jar. I put it in there, and then I put a label on it. I've actually ordered some. I think you can order some nice custom labels. And what I also did because I was really excited about this lotion too. I just ordered some on Amazon, these beautiful little jars. I'll show you what I did with the lotion, because I actually did fill a lotion in there. What I might do is order this same jar again. I really like it. I like the size. I might order it in clear for the body scrub, and then keep it in the smoky color for the lotion. So that's kind of cool. And then you can put your own little label on the top, make a nice gift, just treat yourself, whatever. So then that goes in there, and that took less than 10 minutes. I think if we wanted to go the full 10 minutes, it would be in the jar. Okay, so let's do our last one. This is going to take a little bit more because we have to get the hand mixer out. So this one is, I think, the bigger barrier, this recipe. Because you can get really, making a lotion can get kind of complicated. But I find that this is, after testing a lot of different ways to do it, this is by far the simplest, and it doesn't require anything on the stove. And it doesn't even really require a lot of weighing, just kind of the shea butter and stuff. But so it's pretty simple, in my opinion. The hardest part is finding the products. So, because these are not typically things you might have in your pantry. So I found this at Whole Foods, actually, and it was on sale. And it makes almost exactly, about 3 of these recipes. It's 11 ounces for, not quite 2.5, right? Or something like that, whatever that math is. So 4, 8, so 2, almost 3 of the recipes. So I just kind of for comparison. So that was like,
I'm sorry, what is that called? Because
so
I
this
can't
is
see the jar.
is linked. I think this is linked in the recipe, but it's called
Okay.
Tilapia Pure Unrefined Shea Butter. So this is the basis of our lotion, of our whipped body butter. It's just a basic shea butter. You want to get a shea butter with nothing else in it. So just ingredients is just shea butter. And so you really want to read that ingredient label, make sure there's nothing, because a lot of shea butters have other stuff in it and might be toxic. So we don't want that. That's the whole reason of doing this. I did find this one online, and this one I haven't tried yet, so I don't know what the consistency is like, but it is also pure shea butter. Yeah, it's exactly pure shea butter, and it was a little bit better priced. I can't remember what I paid for that, but it was a little bit better. But just to compare, so I have this company that just started, I think these guys just started, called 8 Days. They are a local company here, and I grabbed a sample when I was in a store recently, and I loved it. It's really like nice consistency. It's a whipped body butter, and they use citrus in here. It's like an orange. I love that scent, and it does have a hint of mint too. And I looked at their price for 4 ounces of theirs is $30. So you're gonna save a lot of money by doing this yourself. So let's do that. Okay, I like that. Here's the essential oils we'll play with later. Here's the final product. Okay, so it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. You might need to add some liquid at the end, but I didn't. I think if you wanted to get to her consistency, you would probably, but I just scooped out the shea butter, and I weighed it. So that was the easiest. I do have a kitchen scale, but because it's hard with something like this to just, fill it up but it doesn't need to be exact. So I think you're okay if you don't have a kitchen scale. I just used a kitchen scale because it made it easier to be more exact. So I'm going to put this shea butter, see how it's kind of hard, and it comes out like, and some when you'll see them online, they're actually like literally bars of shea butter. So it's pretty hard, not something you'd necessarily want to rub on your skin like that, because it's kind of waxy and hard. Okay, so we're going to add that. We're going to add the this is arrowroot. This is a thickener, and it will stay, this will kind of keep it stay pulled together. So that's just a little bit of arrowroot butter. And then this is sunflower oil from this. I like this company too, Banyan Botanicals. I did not link this one, so you might want to write that company down. Banyan Botanicals, also a good company. I think they're based in Utah. Oh no, Albuquerque, New Mexico. But they make a lot of good products, and this is organic sunflower oil, and it's considered in Ayurveda tridoshic. It balances all the doshas. So, and also very commonly used for massage oil. So you could use it for a lot of different things. And it's a good carrier oil for if you just want to use a scent with an oil, you could just combine the two. You could skip this whole process. If you don't want like a lotion, you could just go with a massage oil, make a massage oil and stuff like that. So how much do we need? A half ounce.
Does sunflower oil really have like I don't think it really has like a really strong scent. Like that's why I feel like it would pair well with a lot of stuff,
Right,
because
exactly.
It's very light.
Exactly. You want a neutral oil like that. Like I think safflower and sunflower would both be pretty neutral. It's very mild. Okay, you want a half. I'm going to use my measure for this as well. I'm measuring out a half ounce. Okay, so this is what turns out to be a half ounce, just this little tiny bit. In fact, you know what I'll do is hold on a second. I'm going to use a tablespoon just to sort of see. Yeah, it's about a tablespoon. So you could, if you don't want to measure on a scale, you could just guess it's about a tablespoon. Okay, let me move this aside. And then we get to pick I'm going to leave the juice. I'm going to wait until we see what we've got here as far as consistency before we add any aloe vera or stuff like that. Okay, so this one, I think today, so I have Rose. This is a different brand that I bought called Red Silk Essentials, and it's 100% pure essential oil. And it doesn't say organic, but I did buy it at a store that I love, that I trust. So, and it's just Rose. And then this one is a Deer Haven Lavender Company. This is a local one in Santa Cruz, and I trust that. This was only $10, and I found it Pomerosa. I've never heard of it, but I smelled it and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have that because it smells like kind of a sweet rose. It's a really lovely smell. And this one's Roman chamomile. This one has kind of an interesting, this is also one of those ones that's really expensive. Also really good for blemishes though, if you have like skin problems. So it might be worth investing in that if you had skin issues. But for today, I'm going to make this Palmarosa, and we're going to do let's start with 5 drops. And then we're going to use a hand mixer. Put this away. Might get a little noisy. That's basically the secret to it, is just using a hand mixer. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go slow. Spray. I'm just trying to keep this powder from. You could add the powder later if you don't want it to spray around too much. Okay, that didn't take too long. Let me smell. I think it could use some more. So let's try. And I'm gonna try just 5. I'm gonna try just a tiny touch of some aloe vera in here. Start with it. I'm just gonna start with a teaspoon. And see what happens. Yeah, we're still doing good on time. I'm going to scrape down the sides too. So, and you could do this with a mixing stand. A lot of people have mixing stands. I just have never gone to that, but I always liked using a hand mixer. It almost looks like frosting. But don't eat it. I don't like the shape of it. Although I'm sure it wouldn't. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty soft. Let's see what we got. You can just test it with your fingers. Okay, I'm going to see if it's strong enough. I think it could use a little more, actually. You know, I might just do a little bit of, oops, sorry, little rose too. This one, for some reason, doesn't come out very fast. Little rose. Yeah, you just have to play. This is where you get to play. And I'm going to put 2 more of these. Let's see what we got. Get this down. Can you see? Yeah, you guys can see. Okay. I think that's good. Oh, got some on my nose. Okay, let's see. I'm going to dip my finger in here. Rub it on. Oh yeah, there we go. It's funny, it's still pretty mild. I don't know why it's so mild. A few more of these. Because before I did what it was in my other recipe. I had I mixed some lavender. Lavender is stronger. Maybe that's what's missing. Maybe I should put a little lavender in there. But maybe I will. Let's see, where was that lavender? Where'd that go? Oh, here it's hiding behind the butter. Here's the lavender. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit lavender. 3 drops. Okay, I think this might be it. Yes, I can smell it already. This is it. Okay, so I had to do way more. That's because I think those are pretty mild, those roses, and this Palmarosa is really mild, but yeah, that's nice. Not too strong. For sure. So you can play with it and use as much as you want, but oh man, it feels really nice. And then what you do is you take your new cup, or you can recycle. You know, I have all kinds of recycled cups, you know, glass jars. You would definitely want to use glass. You don't want to put it in plastic, because that will cause other. And then see, I've got this whole little thing. Some of these little jars online, and they're not expensive. I can't remember what I paid. I bought like 12 for $15, or no, not even that much, but some of them come with like a little scoop too, but I'll just do like that. This one is yeah, I used Roman chamomile in here, so that one is coming through. So if you're really into scents and playing around with that, this would be a good thing for you to do, because yeah, it's really fun to sort of play with and then go with your mood. You could even do one that was like insect repellent, use things like I think one of those ones on the slideshows was, which one was it? I think it was it Palmer? I can't remember which one, but things like eucalyptus is I think bug repellent, and so is
peppermint.
Peppermint, I think so, and citrus.
Palmarosa, yeah.
Yeah, so you could play with those if you want to make a bug one, if you're going for a hike. The other thing I was going to tell you guys, since we have a little more time, is so that's basically your 3 recipes. I don't know, I mean, do you have any questions about just those few things that we did?
That shea butter, is that going to stay greasy on the skin for a while? Or does that get absorbed pretty well, pretty
Yeah,
quickly?
it's pretty well. There is a whole yeah, it's interesting. There are different I think there's a word for it, but yeah, it's called like the absorption rate or something. There's some word for it, but shea butter is one of the better ones. So it doesn't say, it does go on a little bit thick, but it absorbs pretty well, I find. So everyone's going to be different. If you have, really oily skin, you might want to go to an even lighter one. And we can, if we want to do another one, we could talk about those different ones, which ones there's like.
That's what I was gonna ask, like what would you consider a lighter one, or what would you use for like a lighter consistency for the skin?
Well, oh gosh, I found when I was doing my research, I found a scale. Someone had put up, kind of compiled a scale of like, and it might have even been on that website, the site of the Mountain Rose Herb Company that I linked a lot of those products. So you can go on there and kind of look, just do a little research, or you could just Google which one's the less, I can't remember the word. It's, there's a word for like the absorption rate, but like, coconut oil goes on pretty thick too, but also gets absorbed pretty quickly. I just don't find, it hasn't bothered me because I don't like to feel greasy, but especially when it's so dry, it's been fine. Like it already feels really, really good. And I just put it on. So I don't think shea butter is that bad. I think there's like a less, a medium, and a more, and it's probably like to the medium scale in the scale.
Or maybe like the amount, maybe when you're putting it in, maybe the amount of shea butter.
You
Maybe
don't
could
need
count.
yeah, well, you don't need, it depends on, yeah, you could put more, well, let me just try that safflower oil. Let's see. Let's do a little test ourselves right here. We could just test this and see if this is basically like a massage oil, like that's sort of this. So this would go on and be pretty quickly absorbed, I say. So yeah, you could play around with using more safflower oil and less of the shea butter. You could also play around with adding more aloe vera or the liquid, because that would obviously be more, make it less greasy. But yeah, that is lighter for sure. The safflower oil is lighter. So this would be one on the lighter scale. I'm sorry, I keep calling it safflower oil. It's sunflower oil.
Sunflower.
I got some kind of a
But I
brain.
do think I would prefer the shea butter or the coconut oil just because, I always hear like really good things and really good benefits from using
Oh,
those
oh yeah,
ingredients. So
absolutely. Oh, it's nourishing. I mean, it's actually literally food for your skin. Now, but when you're thinking about like skin issues, I mean, and skin I mean, a lot of people think, oh, we're just gonna put something on it and it'll be better. But you really want to think about what is going on inside of your body as well. So a lot of times skin issues are a result of digestive issues, a result of emotional issues. I mean, there's stress or, there's so many different things so you really want to think about, are you getting enough nutrients in your body? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you giving yourself that time to relax? Are you, all that, everything goes into it. So, but you also the other thing I want to mention is the order of these. I didn't talk about that, and I don't want to let you go before, is you really want to do the scrub first. You want to exfoliate first, and then you want to ideally do the spritz if you want to get the benefits, and then put the lotion on. So you would exfoliate your skin, because that's going to allow whatever nourishment you're putting on your skin to actually penetrate. And then the spritz would be nice if you want, that's kind of like an extra little bonus, and then the lotion, so to moisturize. So yeah, and if you're using, something that's, any of these essential oils are basically like treatments for something, as we've learned, right? So let's say, you have some kind of a skin issue and you want to use the tea tree, you're going to want that to penetrate, not just stay on the surface of the skin. So you're going to want to scrub the dead skin cells off first. It makes a huge difference. So anyway.
okay. And I see we have a question in the chat. Anthony was asking, what's the best way to store the items?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I store the mist in my fridge just because I like a cool mist. And I also think because a lot of these are food grade, you could store it in the fridge as well and it will last longer. But for practicality, I want my kitchen and my bathroom are not that close to each other. So I would keep the lotion and the scrub in my bathroom. Now it won't last as long, but it also makes you use it more. So it's kind of a balance, but basically I think I've said, you can store it in the fridge up to 6 months. And then I would say I would say 1 month at room temperature. Depends on what oil you're using, because there's no preservatives. There's no, there's natural ones in some of these essential oils, but and some of them are natural, antimicrobial, antifungal, and all that stuff. So they're kind of naturally going to fight those things, but you will know when it's time to say goodbye. And, I think so. Just use your judgment. It's hard to know because I don't know how hot it is. I don't know how fresh your ingredients are. I don't know, there's a lot of variables here. So, just kind of go with your gut, and if you want to be safe, store them in the fridge, but that will harden the shea butter. So, then you want to bring it to room temperature, and do you want to do that every time? So I would say no. So I store that in my bathroom. So,
Okay.
sorry.
No, I said, okay, that sounds good.
I know I can't for some reason see the chat. Oh, here we go. Is there another? Oh, that's yours.
No,
Okay.
there's no more questions, but we really appreciated everything, Leslie. I really enjoyed this because like I said, I didn't get to hop on the smoothies session, but this is great, and I'm going to be using some of these ingredients. I really do want to use some of these recipes and try them out just so that like I can save some money.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of investment to get the ingredients in the first place, but once you start using them, and and like you said, if you have extra, you can give some away. It makes really nice, affordable gifts. So, and good for your family members who might need a little support and stuff. So, and friends and stuff. So, yeah, I'm glad you liked it. I really enjoyed sharing this time with you guys. Thank you
Yes,
so much
this
for
was so
listening.
much fun. And if anybody has any questions, is there anybody that has any questions, any other questions that they would like before we end this? for Leslie?
I think the only thing I wanted to just say is thank you, Leslie, because this is
Yeah.
so topical. Everybody's worried about skin conditions, but especially here in Utah, yeah, my skin is really, really dry.
Yeah.
And so much so that it almost gets irritated. So I bet you this would be a good antidote for that too.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll find that it will. And just, just be careful because everybody's different, everyone's unique. Some things can irritate people and some not in others. So just try something out and see what works. But definitely getting that dead skin off and getting that moisturizer on is really, really good. And then just calming everything down with that toner those are
Yeah,
three really good things. So
excellent.
yay. I hope let me know how it goes and we'll be hoping to see you
We
soon.
thank you so much, Leslie, and thank you for everyone for joining today. Just make sure that you guys check Amida Care's website for any upcoming events as well as text messages. Be on the lookout, okay? Have a great day. Thank you.